Hello, this is Duncan for Cambridge Retail Advisors, and today I'm joined by Andrew Gossett, Senior Director for Product Management at Workday. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Also joined by Liz Cooney, and Liz is a Product Advisor for Workday. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to talk about workforce management today, and obviously very much from a Workday perspective, but as we said, people have got conceptions about what it means as soon as we start dropping the words. So we're gonna walk into the pool gently, okay? So let's start off by saying that workforce management isn't necessarily just a planning tool. There's a lot more to it than that. Andrew, can you guide us into that?
Workforce management, really, if you look at what it starts to do foundationally, if you're only looking at point solutions with disconnected systems of engagement, it becomes really difficult to actually put your investment in front of the workers. The way we view at Workday workforce management is it's a system of retention and engagement. You put the classic Dale Carnegie, what's in it for me, the things the worker has to go into the system to do, right alongside that company's value proposition, so that you show those lateral career opportunity advancements, the things that will keep the worker there longer, and they get visibility to move from just having a job to moving to having a career with the company.
Yeah. It's almost turning workforce management on its head. It's not the top-down telling workers what to do.
That's right. Whenever you try to optimize just on cost alone, you end up creating so much variability and fluctuation for the workforce that they're not able to have consistency within their personal lives. And in order to retain the worker, if they can never make it home in time for the Little League, if they're working nights today, but they're working days tomorrow, the workers are exhausted, they're disengaged, and they really don't want to work for you anymore. But if you can offer core hours with flexibility around those hours, more consistency for the worker, but also push down to their fingertips the ability to make those preferences known, that's when you're able to start to engage the worker, show that you're treating them as people and not dollars, and then they're more willing to stay with your company over time.
Interesting. So Liz, you must have seen that how that translates into real life.
Absolutely. So my role at Workday is as an implementer for our workforce management products for some of our largest and most strategic retail customers. Yeah.
So how do you get into those conversations then about turning it from planning into engagement? You must be opening eyes on your way in.
Definitely. And one of the ways that we do it best at Workday is within our scheduling and labor optimization products, where we have a setup where workers can indicate their preferences for when and where they would like to work and in what roles they would prefer to work. Doesn't mean that as a retailer you always have to honor those, but we offer you measurement tools so you can see how closely you are actually getting schedules to what workers would prefer them to be as a measuring stick. Because the more workers can work when they would prefer to and doing what they want to do, the more likely it is that they're going to actually show up for that shift.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So if we talk about engaging the worker themselves, there must be a lot of definition about what the engagement means in terms of ways of communicating, ways of response, and all of that. Can you talk to that for a minute?
Definitely. So when you're engaging your workforce, we really find that you drive engagement by having the pay slip, the timesheet, the time off, and the schedule all in one place. If this is the place that they go to get overtime, if this is the place they go to have flexibility to make it home in time for the Little League kid, they're going to use the device and they're going to use the app. So within our mobile app with customers that have adopted our workforce management solution, we usually see about 8 to 12 touch points with that worker every single day. But also we see customers that have over 90% mobile adoption just adopting the package.
Right.
Before, your system of engagement was purely a time clock mounted on the wall. It was a TV scrolling in the break room, and your workers really don't get the chance to see, what might I do next with this company? Where can I go for here? We've been finding things for retention like fringe benefits. Pet insurance is a popular one. A lot of people's pets are just like family members. And so if you offer pet insurance as a fringe benefit, but your competitors down the street do not, that might be the actual thing that if your workers know about it, yeah, that's the thing that can keep them. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a father of 4 third babies, so I can relate.
Absolutely.
Have you got other examples of the same thing around the engagement in terms of the way that the worker wants to engage with you?
Absolutely. So as Andrew mentioned, when our customers come over to Workday workforce management, especially scheduling, your worker is literally getting their schedule on their phone. They're viewing it on their phone. They're doing self-service to make changes to that schedule on their phone. But they're able to tell you what they want and manage their schedule from their mobile device as well, from their couch, right? So if they want more hours and you're not able to give them more hours in this one location, we can open it up so that they can pick up shifts in another location and they can go out and say, oh, there's hours available over here. I want to take control of my career and how much I earn, so I'm going to go pick up hours over here. And that exposes them to maybe a different line of the business, to another store area, maybe to an opportunity to grow their career while they're still making more money and staying engaged. Because they're going to leave because they're not, one of the reasons they might leave is not only because of a lack of engagement, but also because they're just not able to get enough hours where they are. But you can open up that flexibility so they can work more hours elsewhere while still controlling your costs, of course.
Have you seen examples where workers are seeing the opportunities of other work, but it requires a new skill set, and then they're jumping onto to a certification, if you like, to actually gain that skill set? They're seeing that?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we, as I mentioned, allow workers to do is to control what they would prefer to do in the future, as well as controlling for what they can do now from a scheduling perspective. So we allow for both. And it really does, the feedback that we're getting is that those frontline workers feel empowered with their schedule.
So if we then layer the extra piece on top of it with the use of AI, if people, I mean, when I'm listening to what you're describing in terms of the engagement with the worker, my first inclination would have been, okay, that means I'm running an app on my phone or I'm going to a website or something like that. But some of the examples that I'm starting to hear from what you've described, AI can change the game on that. Can you talk to that a little bit?
And I'll hand it over to Andrew in a minute to talk about some of the really cool things we're working on right now. As an implementer, I like to specify what types of AI we're talking about. So one of the questions I get asked a lot at Workday is, how do I even start to think about AI? And my answer to that really is, first of all, what is the problem if you're trying to solve? What is the use case that we're looking at? And on top of that, you need to think about the data that you're going to need. How much data do you need? What do you need data on? Where is that data stored? How clean is that data?
So Andrew, I know that there's quite a bit to that in terms of the use of technologies to support that.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Liz mentioned, we don't view AI as the immediate solution. It's one of the tools in the toolkit. When you're in a compliance space, you need a deterministic result. You need to make sure you get repeatable results for things that impact wage and hour regulations. And so when we're looking at the frontline worker, the first thing we do before we ever consider a use case for agents is we look at both the frequency of transaction execution, but also we look in our UI funnels to see where are you spending too much time on something already, and we approach it with a time optimization and a friction elimination standpoint. But the other part is the frontline workers might not have the company-sponsored app on their phone. They might not have downloaded it. It's something where the frontline worker has SMS. In Europe, we have WhatsApp, and you have to meet the frontline worker in their natural workspace so that you can actually get the returns on your investment. Your AI, your agents, they do no good if your workers can't get to them. So with our frontline agent, we've built it SMS-First. This way you can do something that 100% of our customers have, calling in sick, right? You might have to call your manager, you might call a central number, there might be a portal. But if we automate this with our frontline agent, which we already have, now that absence is automatically recorded. We query the qualified available workers within our scheduling tool. And rather than the manager spending over 20 minutes between group chats and multiple schedules, that manager can replace the worker using Apple CarPlay while they're driving in, because we take care of those compliance checks on the back end. We make sure that everything's working, and the manager can do this in less than a minute, while the worker is able to do it instantly, and you don't have that no-call, no-show problem anymore, because it's just so easy texting in through a central number. And really democratizing that AI through SMS is something that you'll continue to see Workday doing so that you can really get your return on those investments.
Those use cases are really interesting and they're really practical as well. It's you can visualize it without even trying. So well done. Okay, afraid that's all we've got time for on today's show. I'd like to thank you both for joining us. It's a fascinating subject, and for folks watching, please check out Workday and investigate that some more. And this is Duncan for Cambridge Retail Advisors. Back to the studio.